Roost is here. He's here. He's in the game. Who's excited? I'm excited. Are you excited? I think everybody's excited. The Roost is in the game. I don't know about you. I know about me, but I don't know about you. Let's have a chat about the direct, shall we? I think it requires me to not have my glasses on for this because they make my headphones feel a bit weird, you know what I mean? I am gonna have these awful marks though from my glasses. Oh well. Hello everyone, my name's Nymphina and welcome to Fun Fridays, where today we are talking about the Nintendo Direct that happened last night because we're getting Brewster! We're getting Brewster! We've waited so long for this. We've been requesting for Brewster since the game was released back last March. Like, it's insane. This is insane. I know that everybody was probably kind of expecting it because of all the data mines and all that, you know, that type of stuff. But today in this video, with it being Fun Friday, with the Direct happening last night, I thought we could have a chat, well, more me talking to you, about my thoughts, my predictions, my expectations, and my hopes for the new update and potential upcoming updates after this, because I think that this update is going to introduce so much for the game. So much stuff is now going to be able to come into the game because of this one update. At least I feel like it is, with my previous Animal Crossing knowledge of the previous editions in the series. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So let's just quickly cover what happened in the Direct. All that we really saw was a person walking into the museum. They walked up the stairs to the left and there was the sign for the Roost there saying that it ran 24/7. They walked in and then it said that there is going to be an Animal Crossing only Direct coming in October, with a future update happening in November. Now, first of all, Brewster, I for one am quite happy that his cafe is going to be in the museum. For me, it's a bit of a throwback for Wild World, because in Wild World his cafe was in the museum, and I think that if Animal Crossing keep introducing more and more buildings into the game, our islands are going to get too busy. There's going to be too much happening, so I feel that it'll potentially bring another way for players to interact with other characters which haven't been introduced into the game yet, but will be in the future. I am getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that stuff a little bit later. Let's have a chat about the AC only event that will be happening in October. So at first, when Nintendo said, or the speakers at Nintendo said at the Nintendo Direct, that there was going to be an Animal Crossing only Direct happening, I was a bit bummed at first because I kind of expected there to be more in this Direct, but after having a little bit of talking with myself, thoughts, thinking, all that good stuff, I realized that there is a lot of hype that's going to be following this announcement. I've already seen it on Instagram, I've already seen it on Twitter, I've already seen it on Facebook. There is so much hype coming for this update that I think there does need to be their own space for them to talk about Animal Crossing without other games potentially outshining Animal Crossing. I'm not saying that another game will, because I personally don't think that it will with an update this big on the way, but I think that they've made a good choice putting an Animal Crossing only Direct happening in October. Again, this is because I also, through doing research for my master's degree that I just completed, Animal Crossing is one of the most popular games on the platform, with over 3.2 million units being sold as of March this year. That's only 1 year after the game's been released and there's been 3.2 million units being sold. That's insane. So once again, I'm happy that they're dedicating time for Animal Crossing only, with the announcement of Brewster and subsequently the Roost, and with spokespeople from Nintendo saying that there are big things coming up for the game. I have no doubt that this update is going to be absolutely mega. So let's have a chat about my expectations for this update. Obviously, like with all of these categories that I'm going to be talking about, my expectations are extremely high for this update. With the hype that has been following wanting to get Brewster into the game, I think that there's just going to be so much cool stuff coming, so I really hope that they introduce at least a few of the things that I'm going to be mentioning, or if they're not going to, I hope that they at least, you know, maybe hint that it'll happen in the future. The Roost has to offer coffee and hot chocolate on Valentine's Day. Coffee because that's usually what happens anyway. That's what happened in the previous game when the Roost was there. You were able to go and get a coffee once a day from the Roost. Hot chocolate because I don't know why they decided to put hot chocolate, but hot chocolate was always put on Valentine's Day, and you could go and you could get yourself a nice little cup of hot chocolate, and it was lovely, and you had a little hot chocolate break. I personally really want the option to be able to work at the Roost like there was in New Leaf. I want that to be reintroduced. Like I said, if it's not necessarily in this update, I do want it to be in a future one, but I really want that to be in this update. I think that it would just introduce so much more fun stuff into the game and more interactive ability with, you know, the NPCs in the game, potentially with people coming to your island. Who knows? I also want visitors to frequent the Roost. People who haven't played New Leaf or Wild World probably won't really understand what I mean by this, but in Wild World and in New Leaf, there were characters that on like their breaks or their days off or something like that, they would appear in the Roost and they would just be getting hot chocolate. This will be, you know, people such as Rover, Gracie, Tortimer, Pelly, and Phyllis. They all would go to the Roost and they'd get like a drink on their day off. Obviously, the majority of the characters there that I mentioned haven't been introduced into the game, but I think this will give a really good opportunity for them to reintroduce these characters back into the series. Gyroid. Do I have to say anything else? If they do not at least put a gyroid as a decoration in the Roost, I will be miffed. Other aspects that I hope for this update, which aren't necessarily Roost inspired, are new furniture items and new sets. This is things like the princess set, the Rocco set, the mushroom set, with more than just what we already have in the game, the spooky series. I can go on. I really want them to introduce at least one other furniture series / set into the game, and also some other bits and pieces like they always do. It's not a Nintendo update if they don't introduce some sort of new item into the game, is it? And like I said, for the characters, I really hope that they at least hint at the end of the direct that more characters are going to be introduced into the game, because it's the only way, in my opinion, that's going to push the shelf life of the game. Otherwise, people are going to get really bored again. They need to ride the coattails of this update, otherwise people are just going to drop the game again. Next is my predictions for this update, things that I actually think are going to happen and not necessarily what I expect to happen. I think that coffee and hot chocolate are definitely going to be available because it is just simply the simplest thing they can introduce to help the fans be happy about the Roost being included. If they don't introduce that, what is the point of the Roost? It is a coffee shop at the end of the day, isn't it? I do personally doubt that other characters are going to be introduced into the game, but like I said about the previous section, I at least hope that they hint it at the end of the direct, because that would be really lovely. So my prediction for it is that at the end of the direct, they are going to at least hint one more additional new character into the game. If they don't, I'm going to be really upset. Like I said about the potential of new furniture sets or new items, I think that they're definitely going to be added, even if there is at least one, because it wouldn't be an Animal Crossing update if they didn't introduce new items, would it? And finally, a prediction that I have for this game is that I think there's going to be something maybe new introduced with the Thanksgiving event. If there isn't something new introduced, I think they're at least going to be able to unlock it for people, because Thanksgiving is in November at the end of the day, and currently, from what I've seen from people, it is locked behind an update. So I think that they're going to introduce something new, maybe something interesting with the Thanksgiving event, and if they don't, at least they're going to unlock it for people. And finally, my hopes for this update. Obviously, like I said, for the first category, my hopes are incredibly high. I have high hopes, in the words of Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. Apart from Brewster being almost guaranteed now, I really hope they say something about potential shop upgrades, because we all have to be honest with ourselves. The Nooks and the Ables are a bit lacking. The Ables is definitely doing significantly better than the Nooks, but the Nooks has only like, what, 3 items on the back, 2 items on the little thing, and 1 seasonal item a day showing. They have 6 items maximum showing in the shop, and that's just not enough. I know crafting is an aspect of the game, but I just really want them to introduce more things that we can buy from the Nook. I really want them to upgrade it. I want the Nooks to be a little bit more, how do I put this? I don't want it to go up to what it was as Nookingtons, I believe it is in the previous game. I don't want it to be that high and that extravagant. I think that's just going to be a bit too much for the island setting of the game, but I hope at least they introduce a second floor where maybe there can be some circulating exclusive items, like with Gracie's floor in the Nookingtons. I really hope that something like that is potentially even mentioned, because like I said, they are lacking. But with that is my thoughts, my expectations, my predictions, and my hopes for this new update. I'm really excited for it. I am really excited for this direct that's going to happen, and you better bet your socks that I'm going to be talking about it when it gets released. So if you want to join me in watching Animal Crossing videos, Minecraft videos, and for the spooky update videos that are going to be happening in October, please consider subscribing. Look at the graph. Like I say, subscribe please, because at the end of the day, how do I know that you're enjoying this content? We are on the way to 1,000 subscribers / becoming monetized. I have a potential little bit of a interesting thing that I want to mention to you guys in the future if we manage to get even close to that, because I want to give you guys something back in return, like I always do for when we reach an awesome milestone like that. But I hope you have an amazing day today. I really hope that the update, or the hinting of the update, has improved your Friday, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye, my friends. I love you so much.